is this really going to be an issue again this year, Paulie? Potentially here. I know that the storyline yesterday turned into the differences here between the Chiefs playing surface because they're the designated home team for the Super Bowl, which means they get to go and play at the Raiders or practice at the Raiders facility, which is inside and it's beautiful. Meanwhile, the designated road team here, San Francisco, they have to go and play outside on UNLV's practice field. And oh, by the way, we got so much rain here in the city yesterday. It was insane. To give you an idea of that.
And it's going to rain again today.
On the mountain, 45 minutes from here, there was an avalanche. Did you see about this? Five people were trapped, and they had more than a foot of snow in an hour. And then that turns into rain as it comes down, and it doesn't rain that hard here in Las Vegas like ever. So it just happens to be doing this now in Super Bowl week, which is nuts. And think about this for a second here. The Super Bowl surface last year was a major story between the Chiefs and the Eagles. The surface, and you kept bringing this up, the week after the Niners got by the Packers, they were playing at home in the rain. I get it. Like, this is going to be in a dome in a stadium for the Super Bowl, but the Niners were not prepared with the cleats in that game, and the Packers were.
Right.
So is this going to be like a thing during the game where players are sliding all over the field again? Like last year in Arizona when they were not ready with the field surface?
Yeah, too slick. And maybe that's the case, too, because we've had several issues with the field out here. And it looked terrible for the Raider-Bronco game to close the season. So they bring in a new field and bring in new people. Maybe they called George Toma. But then you got the field sitting out in the rain all day, and then it's going to rain again today. But I don't trust the field. And this is a billion-dollar operation. I got one team working out in the rain at the UNLV facility. I got the other team inside the Chiefs at the Raiders facility. What are we doing here? And again, we've lived there for over 20 years. The UNLV facilities, I talked to Mike Pritchard, who grew up here. He couldn't believe they weren't practicing. The 49ers weren't at Gorman, the high school with all the money here, where the rich parents send their kids to go. Because UNLV, Mike Sanford used to coach here, and he was fired. And at his press conference, he blamed the locker rooms for one of the reasons why we have the worst locker rooms in the country, he said, in horrible facilities on the way out the door. So I can't believe they're practicing at UNLV on that field with those facilities. Meanwhile, the Chiefs are inside, nothing to worry about here, and it rained yesterday and it's going to rain today, yet this is a billion-dollar operation.
So now we have to handicap here in this game if the Chiefs, what they learned from last year's Super Bowl to adjust with the cleats just in case it's a problem, and then what did the 49ers learn from 2 weeks ago playing the Packers on a rainy surface if it's going to be a problem for them.
I know. I hope it's not the case, but I wouldn't be surprised if the field's a big story again.
Here's another one to tie it in. We got news this week that the 2026 World Cup is going to be played at MetLife, and the reaction was incredible because people were just saying it's the worst possible place.
It's outrageous.
It really is stupid to have it there.
Why would you even take a chance with weather, too, with what's on the line? Go Los Angeles, go something like that.
Go here, whatever.
But right.
And then it's notorious for having arguably the worst turf in the entire country. So because of the FIFA rules, soccer players are not allowed to play on turf. They're going to change it up and play on grass.
For all these stadiums.
For that event.
Yeah,
yes,
all of them.
For all of them.
Yeah.
But they don't do that for the NFL? It's so mind-boggling that we're sitting here in 2024 and this is still a thing.
Yeah. Goodell was asked about that yesterday, too. Good job by the reporters that were there. So that's a fiasco as well. Now, the other thing you have is what, if this wasn't bad enough, what the 49ers were dealing with. And they complained and again went after the field and the facilities and what was going on at UNLV. The NFL installed a sod field on top of the current field turf surface. The sod field was installed last week. The NFL hardness score for fields averages 78, with no field score being less than 70. The field was in the 50s, according to reports what the Niners were on. So they were concerned. Shanahan said, quote, "It is what it is."
Oh, great.
But this is another thing where they go, and the players had issues from the get-go with some seams and the softness and all this. So that was a problem, too. I also asked Pritchard, what do you think of this? You played 9 years in the league. You were a first-round pick, wide receiver. He said the game plan was put in last week. This is just fine-tuning, so maybe no big deal. But that's another thing, another weird distraction. It's something you have to encounter, which shouldn't happen week of the Super Bowl.
Well, it's a strange look for a business that is worth this much money to have the Super Bowl, and one team's got to be outside on a college field. and you happen to have really poor conditions here. Now, again, but they also said, Shanahan, we're not going to change anything.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.